We've got our judge, Blako.
Is he judging the open? Epic.
Okay. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. How's that look, Stock Live? Loud and clear. Very good. Copy that. Yes, he is.
I don't have to be here.
I felt she's after you down there.
So, I went and read it.
Good job.
We're not too far away at all from making a start on our finals here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, so we do encourage any spectators, please find yourself a good ringside seat and get ready for some wonderful camp drafting here this afternoon. Some of the best we will have seen this weekend. We've seen some wonderful runs, but we've got a great few lines of cattle out the back here. And everyone's primed and ready to rock and roll for the finals here this afternoon, commencing with the final of the Epic Incentive Camp Draft under the watchful eye of Mr. Ben McNaughton. Those competitors that we will require shortly for that final are number 1, John Wilcox with Main Camp Numbers Game, 2, Sam Donnelly and Optimum Athena, 3, Luke Bennett with Chard Family Connor, 4, Ben Matum and AC Hughes Me, 5 will be Bo Colley with the Enrelic Louise, 6, Lachlan Maxwell and Pepsi Ray, 7, Gary Brown with Rod Law Star Trek, and our final competitor, number 8, will be Cody Clark with Deacon's Liqueur. They'll be our 8 competitors that will be contesting the Epic final here this afternoon. Following on from the Epic, we will be moving on to the Infinity Incentive. The first 10 competitors in the Infinity will be Paul O'Turner, 2, Lockie Argue, 3, Sam Greenup, 4, Benjamin Lehman, 5, Alan Sinclair, 6, Bruce Birch, 7, Lloyd Newbury, 8, Damien Bulmer, 9, Robert Fuller, and 10, Ben Thompson. So at the completion of our Epic Camp Draft, those people will be our first 10 competitors in the Infinity. At the completion of the Infinity, we'll move on to the final round of our Open Camp Draft, and then finishing off with the third and final round of our Stallion Draft here this evening. Well, there's the judge's whip, ladies and gentlemen, so if all competitors could be at the ready, we have our first competitor in the camp, so please clear the arena. Please clear the arena, and we will be getting underway with our first competitor, Mr. John Wilcox, and Main Camp Numbers Game. They come in with a total aggregate of 148. We would sincerely like to thank our sponsors here this weekend of our Epic Camp Draft, which of course are Circle L, Maloney Livestock Transport and New England Toyota. So we thank those people very, very much for your kind sponsorship of this Epic Incentive Camp Draft. Also to Tulla Feedlot, thank you very much for their round money that they have put up this weekend throughout the rounds of the first round and second round of the Epic. Of course, wonderful donors there, and make sure you're at the bar later on. Tulla have donated a beast, and those beef packs will be for sale by auction at the bar this evening. A big thank you to Rick Swan and his team, been a wonderful supporter of the weekend. Burton Saddlery, thank you very much to John and Lee Burton. They have supplied a trophy whip. And of course our wonderful cattle donors, Tony, Dom and Ruby Mankins from Saltwater Grazing. We thank you very much for the wonderful line of Frisian steers that we have been supplied here this afternoon. Now in the camp, competitor number 1 will be John Wilcox aboard main camp numbers game. This horse was purchased out of our epic sale in 2021. She's been shown successful in Australian stock horse classes and competed with success in challenges, only very lightly camp drafted. And John will go out with a score of 20 points. 20 there in the final round of the epic this afternoon. Brings his aggregate score up to 168. In the camp now, we have competitor number 2, Sam Donnelly, aboard Optimum Athena. Athena was purchased out of last year's epic sale from Jono and Megan Rogan, sired by Daly's Play Rio out of a Blue Moon Mystic mare. She's had plenty of mustering at home, and this has been her first start here this weekend. So it's wonderful to see these horses that are purchased out of our epic sale coming back and being very, very competitive the following year. In the very capable hands of Mr. Sam Donnelly, looking to add to their aggregate score of 151. He makes his selection of a Frisian steer, kindly donated by the Mankins family at Saltwater Grazing. Calls for the gate and heads outside, looking to add to that total score of 151. And makes his way very cleanly around the Tulla B first peg. Heads towards the Circle L second peg, no worries at all. Makes his way up onto the shoulder to bend it around, back towards the gate we go. Outside, this is Sam Donnelly and Optimum Athena. Luke Bennett and Chard Family Connor, please stand by on the camp, please. But making their way around to the gate now, ladies and gentlemen, this could be our first full-round score here this afternoon in the final of the Epic Incentive Camp Draft. Put your hands together for Sam Donnelly.
Sam, I'm ready. Turn around, ready? Go.
Oh, how did that feel, mate?
Oh, pretty relieving, mate.
I tell you what, we could be at the pay window before you know it, but we'll have a score coming through for you.
So a score to hand there for Sam Donnelly and Optimum Athena was 20 for cutout, 52 for horsework, 3 for the course, gives him a round total of 75 points and a total aggregate of 226. Out on course now, we're with Luke Bennett and Chard Family Connor. Connor was a 4-year-old conman gelding purchased 2 years ago by Jack Kings from the Chard family of Glen Innes. He's had a small amount of mustering work up in Queensland with Jack since Christmas. He has been with Luke Bennett, mainly mustering and getting a bit of education. As you can see, Luke's got the good foundation on him now as he brings him around the Circle L second peg here this afternoon, looking to put a score on the board in the final round of our Epic Incentive Camp Draft. It's looking pretty good from where we sit here, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look at that. Put your hands together. Well done.
Hey, look. Wait, look.
I tell you what, we've got a 4-pointer here. What do you think of that, Lukey boy?
Gotta love them black and white ones.
Nothing but the best out of the Saltwater stable here.
Score there for Luke Bennett and Chard Family Connor. 21 points for cutout, 64 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a round total of 89 points and a grand total of 249. 60. You had 64, so it's 60. Sorry. So we'll be back to 85. So take 4 off there, will be 245. 245, is that right? 85 and 160. Just an amendment to that score. It was actually 60 points for horsework, so it'll be a round total of 85 points and a total aggregate of 245. We're out on course now with our fourth competitor. This is Ben Maidham and AC Hughes Me. They're looking to add to their current aggregate score of 171 here this afternoon and getting to work around that Tulla B first peg, no worries at all. Ben Maidham knows his way around this course. He's had a few good runs this weekend, and I'm sure that he's going to have plenty here this afternoon in the finals. He covers the Circle L second peg, no worries. He knows where he's heading. Ben Maidham and AC Hughes Me looking to put some points on the board. Well done, Ben.
Hey, Benny! Come over here, I've got to talk to you. Turn around.
Well, I tell you what, you're up in the winner's circle, sir.
Come this way.
It's all about the horse work this afternoon. You went to work on that second peg. What did you think of that?
Nah, the little mare worked nice.
Good on you, mate. We'll have a score coming through for you. There's no doubt about it. It's great camp drafting here at Armidale.
Okay, so a score there for Ben Maidham and AC Hughes Me. 22 points for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him 89 for the round total and a total aggregate of 260. He will be our new leader. Heading out on course now, we have Bo Collie and Louise. Louise is owned by Rick and Ian Schwann. She is out of Sunaway mare, hot as hell. She was purchased out of last year's Epic from the O'Brien family. She's had 3 starts and this is her first final. A bit of hard luck there, mate, but 21 points for cutout nevertheless.
Oh, Jake.
We turn our attention to the camp now. Competitor number 6, Lachlan Maxwell with Pepsi Ray,
You ready, mate?
looking to add to their current aggregate score of 157 points. Pepsi Ray was bred by Mitch and Anna Hoy and sold at the 2021 Epic sale. He was at Yugle Bar Station for 12 months and has come home and has been worked consistently by his owner, Jock Maxwell, ever since. This weekend has been his first weekend camp drafting, and of course he's made our Epic incentive final here, so a wonderful achievement.
You're kidding.
Of course, the breeders of this horse, Mitch and Anna Hoy, have got plenty of other horses in the catalogue there tomorrow. We encourage you to get in touch with them. Stallion thing, completing his cutout and heading outside now. This is competitor number 6 in our Epic incentive final, Lachlan Maxwell, aboard Pepsi Ray. A 2021 Epic sale purchase. Bit of hard luck there, Lockie. He'll go out with a camp score of 20 points. And that'll give him a total aggregate of 177. So currently sitting up top, we have Ben Maidham with AC Hughes Me on a total score of 260, followed by Luke Bennett with Chard Family Connor on 245. That's what you're chasing here this afternoon. On the camp now, we have competitor 7, Gary Brown with Rod Law Star Trek. And of course, once again, a very, very big thank you to our wonderful sponsors of the Epic Incentive Camp Draft this weekend, Circle L, Michael and Carolyn Maloney of Maloney Livestock Transport and New England Toyota. We thank you very, very much for your support and your sponsorship of this Epic Incentive Camp Draft. Also to Burton Saddlery, we thank you very, very much for the trophy whip that has been donated, and to Tullen Tulla Beef for their round money sponsorship throughout the last couple of rounds. Bit of hard luck there this afternoon for Gary Brown. He'll go out with a camp score of 18 points. So a total score there for Gary was 167. So 167, the total score there for Gary Brown and Rod Law Star Trek. Our final competitor this afternoon, number 8 in this, the Epic Incentive Final, will be Cody Clark aboard Deacon's Liqueur. He was bred by the Berkeley family and sold here in the 2022 sale to Ben Clark. He's by Erin Raise the Bar, a multiple title winner. And as you can see, the genetics have carried on in this young horse here, Deacon's Liqueur. who comes into the final round with an aggregate score of 161, looking to add to that here this afternoon. They call for the gate and head outside. Our final competitor, Cody Clark and Deacons Lacure, here this afternoon in the Epic Incentive Final. He's just gone a bit wide there, Cody, but anyway, he'll go out with a camp score of 21.
Be 182. So that'll be 1, 2, 3.
Score of 21 points there for Cody Clark, and Deacons Lacure gives him a grand total of 182.
I'll bring you in. I'll do an interview to you pre your final.
Valued over $2.5 grand, $10 each. She's not.
Can I just ask, all presentations over there tomorrow, so nothing here now? Right, yep, no worries.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our sincere thanks this afternoon to our judge, Mr. Ben McNaughton. Thank you very much, Ben, for presiding over our Epic Incentive Camp Draft this weekend. And a big congratulations to the winners and place getters of the Epic Incentive Camp Draft this year. A big congratulations to Ben Maiden with AC Hughes Me, who takes out the top score of 260 points. In second place, Luke Bennett with Chard Family Connor and 245 points. In third, Sam Donnelly with Optimum Athena. Fourth will be Bo Colley. Fifth, Cody Clark. Sixth, Lachlan Maxwell. 7, John Wilcox. And 8, Gary Brown. So congratulations to the winner and place getters of that Epic Incentive Camp Draft. Of course, all our presentations taking place tomorrow morning across the road at the Exhibition Centre. Very big thank you to Saltwater Grazing, the Mankins family, wonderful supporters of our event year in and year out for their kind donation of those cattle to run the Epic Incentive Camp Draft. But don't go away, we move on now to the final of the Infinity Incentive for horses 6 years and over that have been purchased out of our Epic sales over the years. Under the watchful eye of Mr. Tim McCarthy, who of course has been involved in the Epic concept ever since its inception, and has been a huge part of its success over the years. So it's great to have you with us here this weekend, Tim. Our first competitor in the camp now will be Paul O'Turner with Charm. He'll be followed by 2 Lockie Argue and Troy, 3 Sam Green up with Electric Chikasha, 4 Benjamin Lehman with Ellie, 5 Alan Sinclair and Hot Man, and 6 will be Bruce Birch with Illawong Jake.
So I need the Stallion stuff and the open stuff up here. Correct. And who's getting all the...
A very big thank you to the sponsors of this Infinity Camp Draft over the weekend. We thank the Matheson family very much, John and Yannicka, and the boys from Beef Trans. Of course, wonderful sponsors, cattle donors and cattle transporters this weekend. We thank the Matheson family for their tireless support over the last few years. It's wonderful to have you on board, as well as Manildra Equine coming on board again this year, our wonderful sponsors of the Infinity Camp Draft. Again, thank you to Tulla Beef for their round money sponsorship. Thank you to the Burton Saddlery team for their trophy whip that has been donated. And of course, we can't do it without our cattle donors, Eastern Falls Grazing. We thank you very much for your kind donation of these wonderful Angus steers that we're about to see this afternoon in the final round of our Epic Incentive Camp Draft.
I'm doing the Stallion.
We got the okay there from Tim. So Paul, when you're ready, we'll get underway. We'll clear the arena, please, and get underway with the final round of our Infinity Incentive Camp Draft for horses 6 years and over that are purchased out of our sale. Of course, a wonderful catalogue of horses there to be offered tomorrow, commencing at 10 a.m. They'll be in the stalls tomorrow from 8 a.m. for any pre-sale inspections. We encourage you to get over there and do your homework. These incentives are only going to grow in the years to come. We anticipate the prize money to increase by 50% next year. Here we are on camp now with Paul O'Turner and Charm looking to add to their first round score of 88 points. On course, Paul Turner and Charm really getting to work to get this Circle L second peg covered here this afternoon. The first competitor in our Infinity Incentive Camp Draft. Taking the long way around, but nevertheless the destination is the same and straight through the gate. Well done to Paul O'Turner and Charm. We'll have a score to hand there shortly.
Well, how about that? We've got the first one with the 4-pointer there, Paul. What do you think of that for ripping round?
It wasn't too bad, mate. Bit of hard going.
The score there for
I tell you what, I thought it might have been a 65, but we'll wait for the judge.
Score to hand there for Paul O'Turner and Charm was 21 points for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a total of 84 points in the final round, with his 88 from the first round, gives him a total score of 172. Outside now is competitor 2, Lockie Argue and Troy. Troy was purchased out of our epic sale here. The vendor being Troy Palmer. It's great to have Lockie back here with us this weekend. They go in with a first round score of 85. As he makes his way around the Circle L second peg, no worries at all, makes the change to come back around towards the gate and put a few more points on the board. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Lockie Argue and Troy.
Battle. I tell you what, Lockie, how about that? That's number 2, 4 from 4.
Yeah, it's all right.
How about the cattle donors? I tell you what, without these cattle donors, the Menkins family, each and every year, great supporters of this event.
Okay, so a score to hand there for Lockie Argue and Troy was 20 points for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a total of 85. Along with his 85 from the first round, gives him a total aggregate score of 170. On the camp now, we have Sam Greenup and Electric Chikasha. They're looking to add to their first round score of 88. A pretty smart run on this mare who was bred by Drew and Sally Stevenson of Benalla Stud. Wonderful supporters and sponsors of this weekend, of course, with their stallion Al Capone going around in the Stallion draft later this evening. It was purchased by Daff Livestock in last year's Epic for $30,000. It's ridden here this weekend by the very capable Mr. Sam Greenup. It did final in the Chinchilla Grandfather Clock in 2022. This mare, sired by Benaya out of a Doc's Freckle Oak mare, has been very competitive throughout the weekend. Makes his way to the front of the camp and calls for the gate. This is competitor number 3, Sam Greenup with Electric Chikasha. Bred by wonderful sponsors and vendors of this year's sale, Mr. Drew and Mrs. Sally Stevenson of Benalla Stud, but really getting to work around the second peg here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sam Greenup aboard Electric Chikasha, covering the Circle L second peg with ease and making the change to come around towards the gate. And just around the top, a bit of hard luck, but a good run nevertheless. Score there for Sam and Electric Chikasha was 21 points for cutout, 59 for horsework, 3 for the course, gives him a total of 83, bringing his grand total to 171. On the camp now, Ben Lehman with Ellie. Ellie was purchased 2 years ago out of the Epic sale from the Leader family. She's a 13-year-old. She's a 13-year-old mare that Ben enjoys riding. Looking to add to their first round score of 84 points. And just a bit of hard luck for Ben Lehman and Ellie. Camp score for Ben and Ellie of 16 points brings their total score up to 100. So currently leading the final of the Infinity Incentive Camp Draft, we have Paul O'Turner and Charm sitting on a grand total of 172 points. That's what you'll be chasing here this afternoon so far. In the camp now, we have competitor number 5, Mr. Alan Sinclair with Illawong Hotman. Another one of our valued vendors, competitors and supporters of the Epic concept for many years. Of course, Al has been a past winner of the Epic incentive. And he looks to try and get some points on the board in the final of the Infinity this year. Looking to add to their first round score of 85 points. Let's see what they can do here this afternoon. And a bit of bad luck there. Al goes out with a score of 21 points for camp. Bringing his total score to 106. A reminder to everyone on the ground that we are currently selling tickets in the Mechanical Cow raffle. We have them downstairs for sale, so we encourage you to get on over. I believe it's about $5 a ticket, and that Mechanical Cow worth $2,000. We will be raffling that off, so please, if you're coming past the announcer's box downstairs, we have raffle tickets available for that Mechanical Cow. Here we are. We turn our attention to a man who puts a hell of a lot of effort and work into running this epic here, Mr. Bruce Birch, along with Blake O'Reilly and Daniel South. Bruce is aboard Illawong Jake, looking to add to their first round score of 84 points. Jake is a 9-year-old registered quarter horse gelding owned by Mindu Partnership and was purchased out of the 2016 Epic sale. He is by one roan Peptos out of a dual Jazzy Bell bred by Ken McCarthy. Jake has been lightly camp drafted, winning cutout competitions and making finals. And a bit of hard luck there. Birchie goes out with a score of 20 points, bringing his total to 104 for Bruce Birch and Illawong Jake. A correction there, ladies and gentlemen. Those tickets are on sale for $10. $10 for those raffle tickets. $10 for those raffle tickets, but of course a wonderful prize valued at over $2,000. The Mechanical Cow raffle. Of course, those tickets available downstairs for $10 each. In the camp now, we have competitor number 7, young Lloyd Newbury, aboard Asia. They come into the final with a first round score of 83 points. Of course, Asia ridden by Lloyd on behalf of Warren Lowry and family. Asia was purchased out of the 2022 sale. Asia has only competed at a few drafts in the junior and juvenile. But a wonderful effort to make the Infinity Incentive final here this afternoon. Makes his selection from the wonderful line of cattle that we have donated to us here this weekend by Eastern Falls Grazing. And a big thank you to the sponsors of our Infinity Incentive Camp Draft, the Matheson family from Beef Trans and Manildra Equine. We thank them very, very much for coming on board again this year. A pleasure to have you guys and work together. Few tricks in that steer in the camp, but anyway, young Lloyd gets to work outside. Going to get him wrangled around the Tulla Beef first peg, no worries at all. This young fella can ride. Look at the way he gets out and around this Circle L. Second peg really tightening things up now. He's got it covered now. One of our younger competitors here this weekend makes his change around towards the gate. Oh, and just around the top. But put your hands together for young Lloyd Newbury and Asia. Score there for Lloyd Newbury and Asia was 16 points for cutout, 59 for horsework, 3 for the course, gives him a total of 78 points in the second round. Combined with his first round score of 83, a total of 161. On the camp now, we're watching Damien Bulmer aboard Acres of Delray. They come into this second round with a first round score of 84 points. Looking to see what they can do here this evening. A bit of block there, Damo. Back across. Good work. Gets him covered. He sees the daylight now and heads outside. This is competitor number 8, Damien Bulmer, aboard Acres of Delray. A bit of hard luck there. Damo goes out with a camp score of 18. Gives him a total score of 102 in round 2 of the Infinity Camp Draft. We turn our attention now to the camp where we'll have Bob Fuller with Reflection. They come in with a very, very competitive score of 89 points from the first round. Let's see what they can do here in the second round this evening. Following on for Bob Fuller, we'll have competitor 10, Ben Thompson with CKJ Marco, 11, Lockie Argue and Dress to Impress, 12, Troy Arnold with Merlin Playgirl, 13, David Kelly and Phoenix, and 14 will be Charlie McKinnon with Bing. Hard luck there, Bob. He'll go out with a camp score of 16 points, giving him a total of 105. Now here's last year's man of the moment, Mr. Ben Thompson. Of course, last year's winner of the Epic and Infinity Camp Drafts. Let's see what he can do here this year. Comes in on CKJ Marco, looking to add to their first round score of 89 points. Gets outside, first time, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and just goes a little bit too keenly there. He'll go out with a score of 21 points.
Marco.
Had an 89 in the first round. Score there for Ben Thompson and CKJ Marco. 21 points for cutout. Gives him a total of 110. On the camp now, Lockie Argue with Dressed to Impress. They come in with a first round score of 86 points. Let's see if we can get another full round score here this afternoon. In the second round of our Infinity Camp Draft, sponsored by Beef Trans, the Matheson family, and Manildra Equine. We thank them very, very much for their kind sponsorship of the event this weekend. And of course, representatives from both companies are on the ground this weekend, so we encourage you to support them wherever you can. Big thank you once again to Tullen Beef, who have put up the first round prize money. To Burton Saddlery, a local saddlery company. Thank you very much to the Burton family. They also have a trade stall across the road at the exhibition centre. They have donated a trophy whip. We're outside now with Lockie Argue and Dressed to Impress, looking to add to their first round score of 86 points and chasing the total of 172, which is currently held by Paul O'Turner, to lead the final of our Infinity this afternoon. On course, Lockie Argue and Dress to Impress. They make their way impressively around the Circle L second peg and head back towards the gate. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We might be in the money here. Well done, Lockie.
Well, I tell you what, it took a bit of time, Lockie, but a 4-pointer. You know the way around the course.
I'll leave the words to you, Blake.
Well, I reckon it'll be good enough for a 66 outside, but we'll wait for the judge.
Score to hand there for Lockie Argue and Dress to Impress. 19 points for cutout, 62 for horsework. 4 for the course gives him a total of 85 points for the second round and brings his grand total to 171. 171 puts him up into equal second place with Sam Green up and Electric Chikasha. Reminder to everyone on the ground that we are selling those raffle tickets in the Mechanical Cow, valued at over $2,000. Those tickets are on sale downstairs in the announcer's box for $10 each. $10 for those tickets, and you stand a chance to win that cow cutter, valued over $2,000. Tickets available downstairs in the announcer's box. But we turn our attention now to competitor number 12, Troy Arnold with Merlin Playgirl. They're looking to add to their first round score of 84 points here this afternoon. Out on course now, we're watching competitor number 12, Troy Arnold and Merlin Playgirl, as they come back around towards the gate and just go around the top end there of the Grazag peg. And he'll go out with a camp score only of 16. That beast getting away over the back there, unfortunately, which will give him a total score of 100. In the camp now, David Kelly. David's Mount Phoenix achieved a first round score of 85 points yesterday. We'll be looking to build on that here this afternoon, no doubt. Here we go. We're outside now with Mr. David Kelly and Phoenix. Oh, and really getting to work here now. Gets a bit of bend in that black steer. Looks to bring him around the right side of the Tullaby first peg. Getting to work now. Gets a bend in him. Just sits on the top side of him to haze him around that Circle L second peg. They got the job done there. 2 points out of 4 here as they cross the line and head back around to the gate. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We might have our foot on the till here. Well done, David.
How was that, Cal? I tell you what, you look like you're drawing for a breath. Not like that in the pickup arena.
No, I think we do need a bit of a breath.
Scored a hand there for David.
Give him a bit of
Kelly
Ventolin or a bit of nicotine, I'd say. Good work, mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks very much.
Score there for David Kelly and Phoenix was 20 points for cutout, 57 for horsework, 4 for the course. Gives him a total of 81 for the second round and a grand total of 166. We're in the camp now with competitor number 14, Charlie McKinnon. He's aboard Bing, looking to add to their very good score of 88 in the first round. They go wide there, unfortunately achieving a 21 only, which will give him a total score of 109. In the camp now, we have Mr. Denny Farley aboard Pimpampa Chandler. Comes into this camp draft here this afternoon with a first round score of 86. Denny's been a wonderful supporter of the concept ever since day one. Of course, we can't forget that it started over there at Kempsey. Of course, Denny being a Kempsey boy himself, he's got behind the concept and followed it over here to Armidale. He's looking pretty good around the first peg there this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, and he just gets around the top side of the Circle L second peg. Don't worry here, ladies and gentlemen. This man's as safe as houses as he brings him around the second peg. He's against the clock here now. Can he bring him back around in through the gate? Well done. Have a look at that for skill, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I tell you what, that is worth tipping your hat for. What did you think of that for a run?
Oh, a little tricky, but he's all right, eh?
Nothing you couldn't handle. I wouldn't have thought Denny from up on top.
No, it's good. It's good to be here at the Epic. So
Good on you, mate. We'll see you at the pay window, no doubt.
Well, score to hand there for Denny Farley and Chandler was 21 points for cutout, 60 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a total second round score of 85 and a grand total of 171, putting him up into equal second place at the moment. We're in the camp now with competitor 16, Alan Sinclair with Sterling. They come in with a first round score of 86 points. Of course, Sterling won an epic here a couple of years ago.
Yes, yeah.
Score there for Alan Sinclair and Sterling, 16 points for cutout, gives him a grand total of 102. A couple of fresh coming to the camp now from the Eastern Falls Grazing Draft. And we turn our attention to competitor number 17, Mr. Paul Turner with Last Hope. They come in with an impressive first round score of 88 points. And look to make their selection here this afternoon for the second round of our Infinity Incentive Camp Draft for horses aged 6 years and over that have been purchased out of our epic sale over the years. Plenty of opportunities to come back and have a crack at this incentive. Of course, with the Epic for the 5-year-old and under horses, the Infinity for the 6-year-old and over. Our wonderful open drafts. And don't forget that Stallion incentive that we'll remind you of later on. Just not playing the game there this afternoon, that steer, unfortunately, Paul. He'll go out with a camp score of 16 points and a grand total of 104. In the camp now, we should have competitor 18, Guy Lord with free spin. We will require 19, Lockie Argue and Digger. Lockie Argue and Digger, please, to the side of the camp. Followed by our final competitor, Mr. Ben Thompson and Fantail. Lockie, if you're around, mate, we do require you and Digger to the camp as soon as you can, please. A reminder that we are selling those raffle tickets downstairs in the announcer's box for the mechanical cow cutter, valued at over $2,500. A ticket will only cost you $10 for your chance to win that mechanical cow cutter. You can find the tickets downstairs in the announcer's box. Here we go, making their selection. Competitor 18, Guy Lord, and Free Spin, looking to add to their first round score of 87. They're outside now. Let's see what we can do here. They take the long way around the first peg, but nevertheless they get the job done around the Tullaby first peg. They just slip around the bottom end of the Circle L second. Bit of hard luck there for Guy, but he goes out with a score of 21 points and a grand total of 108. So we're back to Lockie Argue now, aboard Digger. They're looking to add to their first round score of 85 points. Currently leading this Infinity Incentive Campdraft, we have Paul Turner with Charm on 172, followed closely on equal scores of 171. We have Sam Green up with Electric Chikasha, Lockie Argue with Dress to Impress, and Denny Farley with Chandler.
How are we going to do that? We're going to just split it. Equal second, that's right, yeah.
Bit of hard luck there, Lockie. A very big thank you to our backyard staff who have been manning the backyards here this weekend. Very nicely done. Thank you to all the backyard staff, of course, managed by young Katie there in the camp at the moment. This year's Miss Armadale Showgirl, a jack of all trades. Here we go, in the camp now, our final competitor, number 20, Mr. Ben Thompson. The reigning champion comes in looking to defend his title from last year. He comes in with a score of 90 points. Let's see what he can do here aboard Rodlar Fantail. Was the winner of last year's epic draft, of course, so he's come back to have a crack at the Infinity. Plenty of chances to come and take some of this prize money that's available home. Fantail is a 6-year-old gelding purchased from Rod and Lorraine McKinnon in 2019. Fantail's half-sister also won the Epic in 2017 when it was still being run over at Kempsey. So it's good to see these horses are getting the job done. Okay, here we are up the face of the camp now. Mr. Ben Thompson on last year's Epic winner. They come into the second round with a first round score of 90 points. He calls for the gate, gets outside and gets busy around that first peg now. They see out the Tulla Beef peg, no worries at all, and come back around the Circle L second peg. Have a look here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ben Thompson and Rodlar Fantail. Won the Epic last year. Makes the change to come back around to the gate now. Let's see what might happen here, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's got his foot on the till. Back through the gate. Yes, they do. Well done.
Hey, Benny.
I tell you what, it only takes your best to get it around all the way from out there at Upper Horton, Ben. That was pretty to watch.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for the weekend. Been great.
Pleasure, mate. There's no doubt about it. We'll see you at the pay window.
Okay, so a score to hand there for Ben Thompson and last year's Epic winner, Rodlar Fantail, achieving 21 points for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a total of 86 along with his first round score of 90. That makes him our clear winner of this year's Infinity Incentive Campdraft on a grand total of 176 points. Well done, Ben. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to our winner, Ben Thompson, on Rodlar Fantail. How's that? Last year's Epic Incentive winner and coming back this year, the following year, and taking out the Infinity Incentive. Congratulations to all the place getters. In second place, we have Paul O'Turner with Charm on 172. In equal third, Sam Greenup, Lockie Argue, and Denny Farley. Sixth will be Lockie Argue. Seventh, David Kelly, and eighth, Lloyd Newbury. So congratulations to the winner and place getters. A very big thank you to our judge, Mr. Tim McCarthy, for presiding over that draft this weekend. Thank you once again to the sponsors of our Infinity Campdraft for the horses purchased out of our sale 6 years and over. Of course, our wonderful sponsors and carriers of the cattle this weekend, Beef Trans, John Yannicka Matheson and family, and Manildra Equine. It's been great to have you guys back on board this year. And of course, that presentation will take place across the road tomorrow morning.
Blake's told me that there's a...
I'm going to leave my phone up here for the girls. You just keep ringing them if they need you. Okay, bye. Oh, hang on. 2201 is the passcode vault. Hang on. Hold. This is, that's not right.
In not too long at all, ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving on to one of the feature events on the program here this evening, the final round of our Open Camp Draft, of course sponsored by our very great event partners here this weekend, Grey's Ag, the Litchfield family, continued supporters of the Epic Camp Draft over the last few years. So we thank them very, very much. When we get underway, it will be under the very watchful eye of our highly decorated judge, Mr. Peter Dowling, all the way down from Cloncurry to be with us here this weekend. So we thank Pete for making his way down to be with us here to judge the Open Camp Draft this weekend.
we're just going to go back to the... Hey? I thought so, yeah. As long as you share the prize money.
Okay, we've got the nod from our judge, Mr. Peter Dowling, and we will get underway with our first competitor in the camp there now, Mr. Zach Croker aboard Waitress. They come in with an aggregate score of 172, looking to add to that here this afternoon. Following Zach will require number 2, Danny Farley with Sadie, 3, Ben Thompson with Ruby, 4, Alan Sinclair and Sterling, 5, Ben Newbury with Rosebud, 6, Ben McNaughton and Amac Omo, 7, Robert Leach with Hazelwood Conman, 8, Tim McCarthy and Lee Storm, 9, Andrew Burns with Hard Hat Dave, and 10 will be Ben Maiden with Bonfire Jovi. Calling for the gate now and heading outside with a wonderful black baldy steer here, kindly donated by David and Penny Grills, along with Brenton and Jessica Allport. They've been cattle donors ever since we've come over here to Armidale. And the cattle year in, year out continue to impress. As Zach makes his way nice and tightly around the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg here this afternoon. Our first competitor in the final round of our Greys Ag Open Camp Draft. He might just put some points on the board here too, ladies and gentlemen, as he makes his way back around towards the gate. Well done.
Well, I tell you what, Zach, that's all the way leading from the start. What do you think of that big black baldy bullock?
It was pretty quick, bit tough, but anyway, we've got one on the board.
No doubt about it, nothing beats leading from the front.
Well, that's very correct, Blake O'Reilly, and a score to hand there for Zach Croker and Waitress was 19 points for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a final round score of 86 points and a grand total of 258. We're in the camp now with competitor number 2, Danny Farley and Sadie. They come in with a total of 168 points, looking to see what they can add to that this afternoon. Another black baldy steer here. They make their way around the Beef Trans first peg, no worries at all. They've got the second peg in sight, which of course is sponsored by another one of our wonderful carriers this weekend, the Maloney family of Maloney Livestock Transport. Danny Farley and Sadie making their way back around towards the gate here, ladies and gentlemen. This is Open Camp Drafting this afternoon. Congratulations. The full round score here for you shortly.
I tell you what, you come around before there, Denny, and another 4. What'd you think, better or worse?
Oh, no, it wasn't too bad, so go through the gate, it's pretty good.
Mate, I would have thought of 68, but we'll leave that up to our judge, eh?
Yeah, see what he reckons.
Good on you, mate.
Score there for Danny Farley and Sadie was 21 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, a total of 87 points in the final round. Brings his grand total to 255. Calling for the gate and heading outside now. Competitor 3, Ben Thompson aboard Ruby. They come into the final round with an aggregate score of 170 points. Really getting up on the shoulder here, ladies and gentlemen, as they push the black steer around the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. Setting themselves up to make the cross, make the change, and around to the gate here now. This is Ben Thompson and Ruby. Congratulations, Ben.
I tell you what, Liam, it's the poor old horse is getting a bit buggered out here, but we've got to get to this man because he can put him around. I tell you what, Ben, that was a lot of pretty work. You hit from the jump, mate, from the gate all the way to the peg on that shoulder.
Thanks, buddy.
Nothing more to say. Speechless.
Well, it's not often we hear Ben speechless, but anyway, there we are. A score to hand for Ben, 16 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a total of 82 for the final round and brings his grand total to 252. In the camp now, Alan Sinclair aboard Sterling. They come in with an aggregate score of 173, and of course Sterling is a previous winner of the Epic Camp Draft. Going to be very competitive here this afternoon in an open. This is what these epic sale horses go on to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're outside now with Alan Sinclair and Sterling. Here we go, putting together another good run here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Might be another full round score. Have a look on here. Oh, just around the top, unfortunately. Score there for Alan Sinclair and Sterling. 20 points for cutout, 57 for horsework, 3 for the course. Gives him a total of 80 points in the final round, bringing his grand total to 253. Ben Newbury out on course now aboard Rosebud, looking to add to their aggregate score of 176. They get outside and get to work. There's no mucking around here this afternoon. Ben Newbury, he hits the go button and makes the change to head around towards the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. Got the second peg covered, no worries. Makes the change to come back around towards the gate. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Ben Newbury and Rosebud.
Well, there you talk about the best in the business out of Pinkett, and I tell you what, we got him here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks very much. Yeah, no, that worked out pretty good.
I tell you what, that bullock was good from the start, wasn't he?
He's lovely. Yeah.
Good on you, Ben. We'll see you at the pay window, I'd reckon.
So a score to hand there for Ben Newbury and Rosebud. 22 points for cutout, 62 for horsework. 4 for the course gives him a final round score of 88 points and a grand total of 264, which will make him our new leader of the final round of the Open Camp Draft here this afternoon. From one Ben to another, we go to competitor number 6 on the camp now, Ben McNaughton with Amac Omo. Following Ben will require number 7, Rob Leach with Hazelwood Congressman, 8, Tim McCarthy and Lee Storm, 9, Andrew Burns with Illawong Hard Hat Dave, and 10, Ben Maidham with Bonfire Jovi. Really up on the shoulder here now, ladies and gentlemen, and unfortunately just splitting that second peg there. A camp score of 15 points only for Ben McNaughton and Amac Omo. That brings their grand total score up to 191 points for the weekend. On the camp now, number 7, Rob Leach aboard Hazelwood Congressman. They come into this with an aggregate total of 177. They've selected the Black Baldy steer and they head outside to see what they can do now. This is where the big points are, ladies and gentlemen. Out on the course now, heading around towards the Beef Trans first peg. They get it covered, no worries at all. This is Rob Leach and Hazelwood Congressman. Make the change very nicely and come back around the second peg. The Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. Makes the change to come back around towards the gate, making it look all too easy. This is Rob Leach and Hazelwood Congressman.
I tell you what, you didn't know what was coming up behind you there. I tell you what, you led from the start, mate, and that was a bit of work all the way from that camp.
Yeah, mate, no, I just blessed to have this horse, mate. He makes it look easy. Makes the other ones feel pretty hard.
There's no doubt about it. Well, best of luck in the Stallion draft.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Well, thanks very much, Blake and Leachy. A score to hand there for Rob Leach and Hazelwood Congressman. 22 points for cutout, 63 for horsework, 4 for the course. Gives him a final round score of 89 points and brings his grand total up to 266 to give us a new leader here this afternoon. We're out on course now with competitor 8, Tim McCarthy and Lee Storm. They look to add to their aggregate total of 175 here this afternoon. Here's a cattleman, ladies and gentlemen. Look at the way he rates this broken face Black Baldy steer as they head around towards up on the shoulder around the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. This is Tim McCarthy and Lee Storm. It looks like they've done this a time or two before, ladies and gentlemen. And back around through the gate. Well done, Tim.
Well, I know this man won't be very good for many words, but we've got an infinity judge here. What do you think of that, Timmy?
We've done our best, mate.
We had a job to see coming around the first peg. We didn't know what you're on a Shetland.
He's a big boy, wasn't he?
I tell you what, great bullocks here on the Grills family.
Yes, I'm sure everyone would agree, Blake. The cattle are running very well this afternoon. A score to hand there for Tim McCarthy and Lee Storm. 22 points for cutout, 64 for horsework. 4 for the course gives him a total of 90 points for the final round here this afternoon, and a grand total of 265, putting him right up there in second place behind Robert Leach and Hazelwood Congressman. In the camp now, Andrew Burns and Hard Hat Dave. Bit of hard luck there this afternoon, Andrew. We'll see you later on in the Stallion draft, of course, with E.V. Costa. A big thank you once again to our wonderful sponsor this weekend, a major sponsor that we're so proud to be partnered with. Thank you very much to Litchfield family from Grey's Ag. Of course, they've got you covered with all of your agricultural supply needs. We can't forget Tulla Beef either for putting up the round prize money. Thank you very much to Rick Swan and his team there at Tulla Beef. Benalla Stud, wonderful supporters here this weekend. Of course, the home of Al Capone, who will be running later on in the Stallion Camp Draft. They have sponsored the highest scoring lady rider in this open camp draft. And, of course, our wonderful cattle donors, the stars of the show, David and Penny Grills and Brenton and Jess Allport. We're in the camp now with competitor number 10, Ben Maidham, aboard Terry Wickham's nomination, Bonfire Jovi. Of course, this partnership took out the open camp draft here last year. It's great to have Ben back with us, not only as a competitor, but putting a few horses back through the sale. And, of course, thank you very much to Terry Wickham for bringing Bonfire Jovi back up here and supporting the open draft this weekend. But we're outside now, and Bonfire Jovi's about to show you what he can do. Unfortunately, the black steer isn't going to play, though. Camp score there of 15, unfortunately, and a grand total of 188. Hugh Miles on the camp this time now, ladies and gentlemen, aboard Destiny's Playgirl. Now, they come into this final round with an aggregate total of 176. Let's see what they can add to that now as they get right up the front and put the pressure on with the black steer here from the Grills family. Head outside and get him rounded up around the Beef Trans first peg. No worries at all. Goes out with a camp score of 22 points there, unfortunately, which will bring their total score to 198. In the camp now, Laura McIntosh aboard Brown Acres, coming in with an aggregate score of 174. Following Laura, we'll require 13 Paul Turner with Hot Mist, 14 Wade Miles and Porsche, 15 will be Daniel Cheers and Alfie, 16 Darcy Argue with Sienna, 17 Tyler Berkeley and Raise the Bar, and 18 will be James Moorhead with Style and Blues. We're outside now with Laura McIntosh and Brown Acres. One of our very capable lady riders here this weekend, showing us how it's done. And, of course, a big thank you to Drew and Sally Stevenson from Benalla Stud for sponsoring that highest scoring lady rider this weekend in the open camp draft. We're around the second peg, no worries at all there for Laura McIntosh and Brown Acres. Let's see if we can seal the deal and make it around back through the gate. She does it easy, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Laura McIntosh.
Well, I tell you what, Laura, professional school teacher as well as a camp drafting winner. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was pretty fast, Blake.
From the first peg all the way around, it was one thing for certain. There wasn't much time. It might have been the 26 second or the fastest course so far.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
Good on you, mate. Best of luck.
Score there for Laura and Brown Acres was 22 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives her a final round total of 88 and a grand total of 262. We're outside now with Paul Turner and Hot Mist looking to add to their aggregate score of 168 as they make their way around the Beef Trans first peg. Got the second peg covered, no worries. Bit of horse work there up on the shoulder. Can he bend him around here for the gate? He really gets to work there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if we can get it back around and through the gate. Oh, have a look at that. Well done. Put your hands together for Paul Turner and Hot Mist.
Well, Paul, I tell you what, you had the whole crowd going for you, mate, around behind that gate. What was the trick about that one?
I don't know, mate. You get a bit lucky every now and then.
Bit extra steel, I'd say. New round coming, I'd reckon, next week.
On the camp now, competitor 14, Wade Miles with Porsche. They come in with an aggregate score of 172. They've got the Murray Grey steer up the front of the camp there now, really putting the pressure on, and they head outside. Let's see what this man can do. Have a look at that. Sends him around the right end of the Beef Trans first peg here this afternoon. They've got it completed, no worries, and they look to make the change to come back around towards the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. Have a look at that, ladies and gentlemen, nice and tight as they make their way back around and look to make the change. Bit of hard luck there, Wade. Goes out with a camp score of 21. Brings his grand total to 193. Dan Cheers with us this time in the camp aboard Alfie. They're looking to add to their aggregate of 170. A grey baldy steer up the front here now. Really working well. Have a look at the way they handle this. Outside now. This is Dan Cheers and Alfie. And goes out with a camp score of 21. Score there for Dan Cheers and Alfie. 21 points for cutout. Gives him a grand total of 191. A reminder to anyone on ground to make your way over to the downstairs compartment of the announcer's box. We are selling those raffle tickets for $10 each for a chance to win the mechanical cow cutter valued at over $2,500. Only costs you $10 for a raffle ticket downstairs in the announcer's box. Now we're outside now with Darcy Argue and Sienna. Looking to put a handle on this Black Angus steer that had a few tricks in him inside the camp. Goes out with a score of 15. Gives him a grand total of 185. 185. While we sort the camp out here, we'd like to acknowledge our very good sponsors and event partners here this weekend, the Litchfield family from Greyzag. We thank you very, very much, the suppliers of all of your agricultural supply needs. They're also there to offer professional advice across several locations throughout the New England. They have the very convenient drive-through service. We thank them for coming on board again this year. Thank you very much once again to Tullen Tullaby, Rick Swan and his team for putting up the round prize money for the first and second round of the Open Camp Draft. To Burton Salary for supplying that trophy whip. We thank them very much. Ben Alistair, Drew and Sally Stevenson, wonderful supporters once again, sponsoring the highest scoring lady rider, and our cattle donors, David and Penny Grills and Brenton and Jessica Allport. And for the cattle to get here in good condition and run the way they are, we'd like to thank our transporters. Thank you very much to Mick and Carolyn Maloney from Maloney Livestock Transport, along with the Matheson family as well. Now we're out on course here now with one of our very own, Tyler Berkeley from Ray White at Inverell. He's aboard Raise the Bar, looking to add to his aggregate of 171. Really getting to work here now to get him around the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. Got that covered, no worries. Makes the change. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Really getting to work. But unfortunately, we're just around the top end of the gate there. Score there for Tyler and Raise the Bar was 21 points for cutout, 59 for horsework, 3 for the course. Gives him a total of 83 points for the final round here this afternoon and a grand total of 254. Now we're in the camp now with competitor 18, James Moorhead and Style and Blues. Looking to add to their aggregate score of 175. Now, could the owners of an Isuzu D-Max registration plate YME52Q, you are currently obstructing the access for the livestock transporters, and also the owner of a Honda CR-V license plate WL9456, you will be required to move those vehicles, please. James goes out with a score of 22 points for cutout there, which will bring him up to 197 for a grand total in this weekend's Open Camp Draft. It's great to have Stock Live here with us this weekend. Tammy Robinson and her team, Tammy and Amelia and the team have been with us all weekend live streaming the Camp Draft events, and they'll be a big part of our sale tomorrow, of course, offering the online bidding service as well. So for anyone watching at home here this afternoon that may want to bid online tomorrow, get in touch with the team from Stock Live, offering a wonderful service there, connecting you to our sale. We'd hate for anyone to miss the opportunity to come and buy a horse that may be able to come and compete in the incentives next year. We're out on course now with 19, Brad Williamson and Glamour S. They're looking to add to their aggregate score of 171. Following Brad, we'll have competitor 20, David Kite and Laguna Lady Pep. 21, Shane Palmer and Tassa's Cover Girl. 22, David Kelly with Phoenix. 23, Wally Ray with Pandora. 24, Jack Gallagher with Gold Ray. 25, Luke Bennett with Malungra's Moonbeam. And 26, Bo Collie with TJ. If we make our way back around through the gate, another 4-point run there. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Brad and Glamour S.
Well, I tell you what, Brad, poor old horse has had a bit of a break, but that was pretty to watch, mate. Little mare, big horse, big heart.
Yeah, she sure is.
He said she sure is. And she's for sale for $100,000, anyone? She'll be in at lot 110A, just a bit crowd shy. Here we go.
Okay, a score there for Brad and Glamour S was 22 points for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course. Gives him a grand total of 87 points for that final round. And 258, a grand total of 258, combined with his aggregate score. Now we're out on course now with David Keat aboard Laguna Lady Pep. Doing it nicely, looking to add to their aggregate score of 174. They make the change to come back around towards the gate. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Another 4-pointer there.
Well, Keaty, you've got one in the sale tomorrow, mate. Is that one going as good as this one?
A little bit behind.
Better, you said. How good's that? I tell you what, we'll have him sold before we get to the auction. Great work, mate.
The score there for David and Lady Pep was 21 points for cutout, 63 for horsework. 4 for the course gives him a total of 88 points in the final round and a grand total of 262. Up the front of the camp showing us how it's done now. And out on course we have Shane Palmer on Tass's Cover Girl. And unfortunately they go out with a final round score of 22 only. Gives him a grand total of 191. In the camp now we have competitor 22, David Kelly with Phoenix. They're looking to add to their aggregate score of 172. A reminder to anyone that might be around the announcer's box downstairs, we are selling those raffle tickets, $10 each. You go in the chance, you buy yourself a chance to win the mechanical cow cutter valued at over $2,500. It'll only cost you $10 for a ticket to go in the draw to win that mechanical cow cutter. A reminder that the bar is open. Our food vans and coffee vans are still operating as well. So we encourage you to get over there later on, especially. We've got Jacko's Jukebox, backed by High Demand from last year. We'll also be having an auction up there later on this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, our wonderful sponsors, Rick Swan and his team at Tulla Beef, the Owen Farming Group, they have donated a beast here this weekend, and the beef packs will be offered by auction at the bar this evening, with all proceeds going to charity. So we encourage everyone at the completion of our finals to head on over to the bar and get behind that and support a good cause. I'm told we've got a couple of guest auctioneers, so it's a event not to be missed. A lot of the campdrafters are all sort of contract musterers and away and that sort of thing.
We had a guest last year, the McCormick boys from Casino.
Oh, yeah.
They come up and judged the challenge, and of course they got an entry in the agents challenge.
Yeah.
And they won.
Yeah, righto.
So there's a
Actually, how many do you need?
3. Team of 3. Team of 3. So we do. You do a brilliant.
Yep. Have a look at that. Got him covered. No worries. Outside now, we have competitor 22, David Kelly and Phoenix, really getting to work here. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen, as he bumps right up alongside that black baldy steer. Gets him covered the second time around the first peg. Puts the pressure on now around the second. He's in a race against the clock here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what we can do. David Kelly and Phoenix. Bit of hard luck there, Dave. Might have been 21, yeah, sorry, I've written it in the wrong one. 51 and 3, 74. Score there for David Kelly and Phoenix, 20 points for cutout, 51 for horsework, 3 for the course. Gives him a total of 74 points and a grand total of 246. Now we're looking at Wally Ray through the gate now, ladies and gentlemen. Wally Ray with Pandora looking to add to their aggregate score of 174.
Well, I tell you what, could be the oldest competitor on the ground, but I tell you what, he's got the 4-pointer. Well, what do you think?
Yeah, really good. Congratulations to Ray White and especially this fella O'Reilly.
Oh, no doubt about you. Good on you, Wally. We had a job to see that little black mare with that big bullock, but I'm sure the judge saw it.
Yeah, well done, Wally. Scored a hand there. 22 points for cutout, 62 for horsework, 4 for the course. Gives him an 88 in the final round and brings his grand total up to 262. Bit of hard luck there for Jack Gallagher and Gold Ray going out with a camp score only of 22 points. Making their grand total 198. Now on camp now we have number 25 Luke Bennett with Malunga's Moonbeam. We thank Luke for coming down this weekend. It's great to have such a high calibre of competitors coming here, vying for the title of the hotly contested 2023 Grey's Ag Open Camp Draft, and we're out on course now with Luke Bennett. Score there for Luke Bennett and Malunga's Moonbeam. 22 for cutout, 51 for horsework, 3 for the course. Gives him a total of 76 points there for the final round and a grand total of 252. And that's time, unfortunately. A score of 20 points there for Bo Collie and TJ. We'll give them a grand total of 197. In this afternoon's final round, so our apologies there to Bo Collie. Just jumped the gun there a bit. Bo goes out with a score of 20 points for cutout, 48 for horsework, 2 for the course. Gives him a 70-point run in the final here this afternoon, bringing his grand total to 247. Now we're out on course now with competitor 27, Tom Morgan, and Copper Aces. Comes into this with a 167 aggregate. Makes his way around the second peg, no worries. Have a look on here, ladies and gentlemen. Could be another 4-point run. Beautifully done.
Well, I tell you what, he had a 94 last year, ladies and gentlemen. There could be a 95. Tommy, can you breathe?
Not yet.
Mate, fantastic. We'll wait for the score leader to come through, hey?
Score there for Tom and Copper Aces, 22 points for cutout, 65 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a 91 in the final round here this afternoon and a grand total of 258. Now we head out on course with competitor number 28, Hugh Miles and More Spoonful, looking to add to their aggregate total of 170 in the 2023 Grazag Open Camp Draft. Of course, thank you very much to our wonderful sponsors and event partners, the Litchfield family. It's wonderful to have them back on board this year, and we encourage you to get on out and support these wonderful sponsors we have wherever you can. Always the first to put their hand up, the Litchfield family, and offer their support. So thank you very much to Jason and Kelly. We hope to catch up with you over the weekend. In the camp now, competitor number 29, Ben Thompson, aboard Django. He'll be followed by 30, Wade Miles with Rivers, 31, Laura McIntosh and Conway, 32, Alan Sinclair with Bombo, and 33, our final competitor, will be Daniel Cheers with Tilly Devine. Now we're right up the front now, and we head outside with Ben Thompson and Django. Had a pretty successful afternoon here this afternoon, but the Black Steer had other ideas. Goes out with a camp score of 23. On the camp now, we have competitor 30, Wade Miles, aboard Rivers, looking to add to their aggregate score of 168. In the final round of our Grazag Camp Draft here this afternoon. Of course, Grazag offering professional advice and all of your merchandise needs. Wonderful supporters. We're glad to be partnered with them here this weekend. We're right up front now, getting very competitive here with Wade Miles and Rivers. They head outside now with the grey Baldy Steer and get to work. The Battle of the Greys here this afternoon. The grey pony and the grey Baldy Steer. Gets around the beef trans. First peg, no worries at all. And really putting the pressure on. Oh, you wouldn't read about it, would you, Wade? But anyway, he'll go out with a camp score of 23 points. Gives him a grand total of 191 for Wade Miles and Rivers. Laura McIntosh in the camp this time aboard Conway, looking to add to their aggregate score of 167, making their selection from this wonderful line of cattle we have this afternoon, very generously donated by David and Penny Grills and Brendan and Jessica Allport. Thank you very much for your continued support. It's really humbling that we have people come and support us year in, year out. They're here the first year, the second year, the third year, and hopefully all of these supporters and good sponsors continue on. They're a pleasure to work with, and I'm sure all the competitors are very thankful for your support. Now we're out on course now with our third last competitor, Laura McIntosh, and aboard Conway. Just hazes the Black Baldy Steer around the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg and makes the change to head back around towards the gate. This is Laura McIntosh and Conway. Can she put some more points on the board here this afternoon? She makes it look easy, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together there for Laura.
Well, I tell you what, Laura, that's 2 from 2. What's the secret?
I have a good cattle picker.
No doubt about it. Would that happen to be the man himself, Mr. Ben McNaughton?
That's him.
No doubt about it. Well done. We'll see you at the prizes, I'd reckon, in the lineup.
Yeah, well done, Laura. Scored a hand there for you was 21 points for cutout, 61 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives her a round total of 86 and a grand total of 253. Our second last competitor on the camp now, Mr. Alan Sinclair. Been very competitive here this weekend. He's aboard Illawong Bombo this time. They're looking to add to their aggregate score of 169. They make their selection and they head outside now to show us what they can do. Outside chasing the big points, and have a look here, right up on the shoulder now, ladies and gentlemen. This is open camp drafting. This is our Grazag Open Camp Draft. It's become one of the biggest events on the calendar in New South Wales over the last couple of years. And Mr. Alan Sinclair, great to have him back with us in the open draft here today. Of course, he won an epic here aboard Stirling a couple of years ago. He gets busy out there now with the grey steer. He's just given him a bit of grief. But he might have him covered. Have a look at that for horsemanship, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, Alan.
Well, Al, I tell you what, you know the course up here in Armidale, been a previous epic winner, and then straight around in the open final.
We scraped around all right. But anyway, it's good.
No doubt about it. It's all about the horsework here in the equine industry and camp drafting.
Score there for Alan Sinclair and Bombo. 20 points for cutout, 59 for horsework, 4 for the course, gives him a final round total of 83 and a grand total of 252. Our final competitor in the camp now is Mr. Daniel Cheers, and he unfortunately goes out there with a no score. His grand total will be 167. So we'll just calculate some scores now, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very, very much for your participation in the wonderful final of our 2023 Grazag Open Camp Draft. Of course, kindly sponsored by our great friends Jason and Kelly Litchfield and their team at Grazag. A big team across several locations throughout the New England. They are your professionals. Speak to them about any of your merchandise or professional advice that you may require. They've been on board with us for many years and they're great to work with. We thank them very much, of course, along with our wonderful cattle donors, the Grills family and Brenton and Jessica Allport. Thank you very much. It's a big deal to offer cattle here, ladies and gentlemen, a very generous gesture. But I guess that's what makes the Epic so good, is that we're surrounded by generous people, generous partners. So we thank them very much. So some results here. Congratulations to the winner of our 2023 Grazag Open Camp Draft, Mr. Robert Leach and Hazelwood Congressman, with a grand score of 266 points. So congratulations, Rob. Followed closely in second position, Tim McCarthy with Lee Storm on 265. Third position, Ben Newbury with Rosebud on 264. Equal fourth, fifth and sixth, Laura McIntosh with Brown Acres. David Kite with Laguna Lady Pep and Wally Ray and Pandora, all on equal scores of 262. And equal seventh, eighth and ninth, Thomas Morgan, Zach Croker and Brad Williamson. Congratulations. And of course, we'll have those presentations across the road at the Exhibition Centre tomorrow morning, along with all of our presentations for all of our drafts here this weekend. A big thank you to our judge there, Mr. Peter Dowling. He's done a wonderful job over the weekend presiding over that open camp draft, which has become such a prestigious event on the calendar. We thank him very much for being with us here this weekend. We're just getting those cattle back, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll get the backyards organised for a new event on our program this year. The Stallion Draft, which of course will be hotly contested. So we've just been advised that, in fact, our open camp draft and Stallion camp draft winners and place getters, you'll have your presentation here tonight at the completion of this Stallion draft. So could the winners and place getters of the open and Stallion drafts please stay behind here this evening so we can have a presentation The presentations of the Epic and the Infinity, the two incentive camp drafts, will be all that will take place across the road tomorrow. So for the winner and place getter of the place getters of the Open Camp Draft, we do ask that you please stay behind here this evening. You'll be made your presentation to after the completion of the Stallion Camp Draft. Stallion Camp Draft, of course, sponsored by Mindu Partnership and the Central Queensland Performance Horse Sale. Cattle donors Rod and Denise Ramage. And, of course, Burton Saddlery offering the trophy whip. Just a reminder that this year's Stallion Incentive, this is a new event on our program, this Stallion Camp Draft. We are also offering a Stallion Incentive, which means the progeny of mares bred to the winner of the Stallion Draft in the next breeding season will be eligible for a $10,000 incentive if sold through the sale and comes back and wins the Epic Camp Draft. That $10,000 will be split, $5,000 to the Stallion owner and $5,000 to the mare owner. A $2,000 add back will occur, and it will jackpot each year if not won. So a wonderful incentive there. Thank you very much for your attendance here and your support this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I will now hand you on to Mr. Jim Ryan to take you through to the end of the program here for the Stallion Draft this evening.
Maybe just give them a plug that they're still selling tickets in the Wazza. What is it? The Wazza? The Cutter Cow thing?
So who just won the Open? Rob Blanche on Congressman.
Rob Blanche.
He's winning with the cattle.
So I need to be able to see yours.
Hands? Yes, you do. I can't see a
Can
thing.
you swap those clipboards around?
Yep.
So that's your cover sheet. That's your pen. Right. You're like a child. You need to write the scores down.
I don't have to write them down. You can write them down. I just read them.
Jesus Christ, you look like your PA.
What's that there?
That's your, about your stallions. I'm going to
One more metallic, aka Donald Trump, Molly Ray.
24 for 2 tenders.
I'm right. I'm just genius.
Oh, but it's an average, so I can only need to put the
Yeah, the average
average
score,
in there. Yeah.
and then add it to that. So that's right. I did the hard bit. Not bad.
Okay, we're good. Come on, before Beck loses mark.
Ready?
What was Leach's definition of it?
Timmy, Donald Trump down there?
Being a bit of a church, not Isabel. Oh, no.
You got them sorted? They're right, they're gone. Should have went and grabbed my glasses, shouldn't I?
That said, you need glasses.
You want me to write that? You can't do shit.
No, because
And if I accidentally elbow you
don't fucking start. Don't.
or stab you with a pen,
Just make sure you have the mic off so
death
it's no.
by
I need a pen. I need a pen.
pen. You don't need pen. I've
I
got
do.
pen.
Who's the judge?
You'll have the same two from yesterday, so it'll be Tim and Ben, won't it?
Yeah, I need to write them down, boys, on that there.
Just wait and see, but if it's the same tomorrow, it
So I don't need any of this here. I just need that.
You just need that. This is your stressful.
I can take all my phones back now.
Yes. It did ring, didn't it?
Yeah, Lydia, you could have answered that. Liv Riley.
See Liv ringing. Oh no, I didn't see that one. There was another one.
Vicky.
Oh, I saw her ring and then I said to
Sorry, who was your judges, guys?
if it's the same as yesterday, it should be Tim McCarthy and Ben McNaughton. But we don't send. Oh yeah, Benny's here. Where's Tim?
Tim McCarthy, Ben McNaughton. Yep.
Yeah.
maybe he
Righto, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to kick underway. We've got the judges, Tim McCarthy and Ben McNaughton. On the front gate, we are cock locked and ready to rock here this afternoon in the epic Stallion draft. We have number one, the man they call Wally Ray on the Donald Trump. Jesse Britton on TRD. James Keat on the Barragunda Goldman. Huey Miles, number 4, Times Up. Roddy McKinnon on the Rod Law Content. Then Rob Leach, number 6, on Western Duck. There's our first 5 contenders, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to roll. A big thank you to the Mindu Partnership and Central Queensland Performance Horse Sale. Cattle donors are Rod and Denise Ramage. We thank them very much. And the Burton Saddlery Trophy Whip. We thank the Burton Saddlery. They've been here all weekend. And that wonderful Stallion incentive, the progeny of mares bred to the winner of the Stallion draft in the next breeding season will be eligible for $10,000 incentive if sold through the sale and wins the epic camp draft. $5,000 to the Stallion owner and $5,000 to the mare owner. $2,000 added back to the jackpot each year if not won. So there's the rules and the legislation. All we need to do now is get them around the pegs and make some money. Righto, up he goes, Wally Ray, Donald Trump, and he's not in jail. One more metallic, a.k.a. Donald Trump, Wally Ray. CW Investments Proprietary Limited owns him from Glen Ennis. Metallic Cat by one more diva. Outside, he says, ladies and gentlemen, get behind him. You don't get to see this kind of size and progeny in the ground at one time very often. Right, I move on down to Jesse Britton now. Commit number 2 on TRD. Outside, they're not mucking around here, ladies and gentlemen. They're getting behind them. Have a crack at that little steer. Chalfa Ray Docks. TRD. Quick score there from Rolly Rose at 21.5. Gives him a total score of 121.5. 121.5. James Keat, you're the man we watch now. Commitment 3. On the Barragunda Gold Man. We'll turn him over here. The Barragunda Gold Man, owned by the James Keat family performance horses. The Barragunda performance horses, sire by Hazelwood Conman. In the dam is Barragunda Acres 2-step. 2014 Chestnut Stallion, 6-panel CDT negative. There's a lot to talk about here. I'll tell you what, he's got more kicking on here. Excludes, he is a $2,200 service fee to this Stallion, Barragunda Goldman. His major achievements with the novice horse who won his first camp draft from his 3rd start as a 5-year-old. Top 10 place getter, 4-year-old ASHS National Maturity Challenge. Phases included lead, hack, work and time trial and camp drafts. You name it, he's done it. Now he's just got himself 4 points. We'll leave it to the judges. Next, into the camp, we have competitor number 4, Hugh Miles, riding Times Up. Times Up's got a stud fee of $27.50, include G. He's got pros of the Wicked Time, Time and Play Stylish, Alley Time, Time to Detective, and the Times Checks. Just got himself a little bit wild and western out the back there, but score to come. Hugh Miles and the Times Up progeny. It's been a constant horse here all weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Right, for number 5, we go into our Rodney McKinnon on Rod Law Content. Going back there to Katie, we got himself a score of an 89.5. Gives him a total score of 202. 202. 202. Huey Myers gets himself a 24 on top of his game, gives him a 202.5. 202.5. They're racking them up. They're moving them, sliding them. Righto, Rodney McKinnon's You're the Man We Watch now. Coming number 5, Rod Law Content. Rod Law Content, 8-year-old stallion bred by the Rodney McKinnon. Signed by the Hazelwood Con Man, drafted by Rod Law Asset, is the dam. A big thank you to these wonderful, absolutely cracking line of cattle here by Rod and Denise Ramage. There's a 4-pointer there. Put your hands together. Get the can, slap your hands. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are only just begun. We'll get your score through shortly. Rob Leach, You Are the Man We Watch, competitor number 6. On the Western Duck, owned by the Mills family. Had a little pleasure to watch this horse up at Hewenden last year, which won the challenge. This colt has had more starts than Farlap and is owned by one of the top men in the north, sorry. Western Duck is your horse. Get on him, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he didn't want to hear that, but just a little bit of malfunction there from the man. But anyway, he'll live another day. Western Duck, he is your man. He's a Hazelwood Con Man colt, Duck and Weave, Open Mare Dam. Right, we go back down to the score. Rodney McKinnon, you got yourself an 86.5. Gives you a total of 256. 256. We go down the line now to competitor number 7, Casey Wallen, up there in the Gatton country. Rosie's Lethal Return. Rosie's Lethal Return, owned by Kenny May and ridden by Casey and the lady. Multiple challenge winner, won the novice and the Fernvale Campdraft 2019. Final in the Stallion Draft at Warwick Gold Cup. Winner of the Rookie Challenge and Casino Stockman Challenge in 2023. Winner of the ABCRA Open Challenge in 2019. He's by Lethal Lena out of Docks, Rosie's Return. And just recently, to win the Stanthorpe Open Stockman's Challenge of the 2023. He's just come back into competition after a 3-year spell. As you can appreciate, we have got a lot to read through here on some of these studs, but we will get there. Ben Newbury, You Are the Man now. We watch competitor number 8. Coolum Quartz. Coolum Quartz is the stallion. Coolum Quartz comes out of the Arrow Creek Stock Horses. Winner of the Novice Camp Drafts and Cutout, sire by Chevin Ivory, Heritage Stock Horse. And the dam, she is on the side of Coolum Omen. Out of the Warren by Omega Mare. The horse stands at Glen Ennis. Outside we go to compete his first peg around the Beef Trans. You are watching Ben Newbury, Coolum Quartz. Just a little bit of housekeeping there. Casey Wonga to 21. Through the gates he goes, 4-pointer. That's what he's chasing, ladies and gentlemen. The Cool Quartz is the man we watch. Score there to come. Right over back down into the camp now. Competitor number 9, Stephen Creighton. We watch competitor number 9, Hallmark Stud Scorcher. He's a 12-year-old stallion He's by the Bald Hill Sizzler out of a dam called Hallmark Stud Kelly. Proper heritage stock horse there on the dam side, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're looking at. We love our stock horses, don't we? Right, our score there for Ben Newby. You got yourself an 80.5. Put you up on a total score of 265, 265. Right now, we're getting them out the side here. They're going like scalded cats. Stephen Creighton, you're the man. Hallmark Stud Scorcher. Hang on, what's happened here? Sorry? What happened there? Did you get a quip? So who we got now? Lee, what was that score there, Dylan? Who?
22. 20.
Sorry, who have we lost here now? Stephen Creighton just went? Yeah. Whip in the yard? Shit. So who we got now? Bernie McCaw. Sorry, I'm with fucking hell, this is hard as shit. Right, as we go down to competitor number 10, Bernie McCaw, Brown Highway Man, winner of 10 Open Campdrafts. His sire is by Brown Victory and the dam out of Brown Mand D. He comes into the Barmac stock horses realm. We're going back there. We'll go back to there to Bernie McCaw. You got yourself a 21 with a total score of 130. 130.
So just worry about this first.
Right outside, we watch Kylie Barnett tap on the Aristo Tough. There's not many of him, ladies and gentlemen. There is only one in the country, and that is him. He is an absolutely delighted and present the US Stallion. Aristo Tough for your consideration this bred season. Mate, just tick him up into your books. There is not many Toughs in Australia. He is the only one. Aristo Tough. Score there to come, ladies and gentlemen. Vicky Evans now we watch cover number 12. Vicky Evans, you are on the Tallawah Classic Destiny. Competitor number 12. Up the front she goes. This horse has 2 horses in the sale too, so mark them up into your calendars. Put more ticks on than a Texas Hereford. He's a Campdraft winner shown successfully at national level. Tallawah Classic Destiny. Don't forget, we were doing a charity auction of the meat at the bar after the presentation, so do not forget that. Be at the bar for the charity auction. Big thank you to Talentala for supplying that meat. We will do an auction for that at the bar. Righto, get back down into it here. A big thank you there to the Tallawah Classic Destiny. He is your stallion. Just having a little bit of trouble getting the numbers delivered to the top of the ring up here. We're keeping up with them, doing the best we can, but anyway, we are under control. There was a score there for Vicky Evans, a 77.5 with a total score of 245. 245. Righto, down into the camp. Andrew Burns, we watch Eva Costa. EV Costa, sorry. We'll go with the EV Costa. No. Can you read any of that?
Yeah, 2019 AQHA runner-up.
EV Costa is a 2019 AQHA runner-up camp drafter of the year. I'll tell you what, they're getting behind him. He's going to take the little white and black. Away we go. Here he is, EV Costa. Oh, he's got a little rough and ready. There's the score coming in there for Andrew Burns on EV Costa. Was it 20.5? Gives him a total of 65.5. A little score there. Now we go down to the man they call Luke Bennett. Riding Malungra's Moonbeam. This beautiful young sire has a story that combines every element and needed to produce horses that will perform and breed on. His mother, Kirkby Stud Blue Moon, has been one of the real legends of the camp drafting over the last 25 years. Well, the father is his legendary Hazelwood Con Man. Blue Moon carries the bloodlines of Mystique, Romeo, Cadet, and Comet. And a generation further back, you find Rivoli Ray. It's all there, ladies and gentlemen, with a lot more. Let's sit back and watch the man they call Luke Bennett on Malingra's Moonbeam. Well, that didn't go to plan for the man, but anyway, he will be back for another day. I'm trying. Righto, Luke, you only got yourself a 20, which is not too bad. 22 gives you a total score of 189.5. Righto, here we go now. Competitor number 19, one of our major sponsors here from the Benalla Stud, Sally Stevenson, Al Capone. Here she goes, ladies and gentlemen. Get behind one of the up-and-coming stallions here in Australia at the moment, and she's off and racing. I'll tell you what, they tell me Drew gets to sit in the stable and watch the football while this horse sits in the lounge room. Outside one of the man, Al Capone. He's only missing a big cigar. Round the second peg she goes on the Maloney Livestock Transport peg. Going to put it through to a 4-pointer here. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, get behind her. Sally Stevenson, hands in the air. Put your hands together there. Cracking there. Al Capone, he is your man. Got some progeny in the sale, and I'll tell you what, definitely one to tick up in your books. What have we done there, Timmy? We're missing a man. Huey Miles. We need Huey Miles. Where are you, son? Huey Miles, Treasured Acres, you are next. He's out. Sorry, Timmy, he is out. Huey Miles is out. We'll go on to the next one. We'll go down to Stephen Blackadder on Blackadder's Little Eagle. We go to a score there for Sally Stevens, who got herself an 87.5. Gives her a total of 188.5, 188.5 points. The Al Capone. Righto, Stephen Blackadder, you have yourself a run here. Competitor number 17 on the Little Blackadder, Little Eagle. He's signed by the Arundel musician. And he comes out of the dam called the Little Wasp. Double cross star black minstrel in the making. There she is. Has consistently placed in novice open camp draft. He won the novice draft at the Kangaroo Creek Sports Camp Draft, wherever that is. And his placing is most camp drafts consistently running 87s and above. Ridden by all the family and won a juvenile draft in 2021. Is this still it? You're getting the hang of it now? We're getting the hang of it. I tell you what, where is that Blake? We need him out there giving some of these people a cracking interview with these wonderful studs. Wouldn't think you could get so many studs in one area of a night under this wonderful, epic opportunity. Here at Armadale, here we go. Stephen Blackadder on the Little Eagle. Righto, up the front we got. Here he goes, Tom Morgan on the Yarrawa Copper Acres. He's an open camp draft horse. Copper Acres is sired by the number 5 all-time leading cutting sire in Australia, Acres Destiny, from the dam of Urana Calamity Jane. Put your tick beside the man they call Yarrawa Copper Acres. We'll go back to a little score update there for Stephen Blackadder on the Little Eagle. It was a 20.5. Got himself a 23, 1.5 through there. Has got 4 points. We'll just recalculate that. Anyway, Thomas Morgan, I know you got 4 there, son. We'll come with the judge. What's next, please? Rodlaw. Right, competitor number 19, we go in Rodlaw McKinnon on the Rodlaw consignment. He's taking himself a little Murray up the front there. Rodlaw consignment. He's a heritage stock horse by the Hazelwood Conman. Out of a Rodlaw Resign. Another heritage stock horse dam on the side there. Busted round the beef trans first peg. A little bit of a catch up there for Stephen Blackadder. Score got himself a 20 point. Give him a total score of 126. 126. Thomas Morgan, you got yourself a 91.5. Give you a total of 136 overall on the Copper Aces. Just another 4-pointer. How easy is that, ladies and gentlemen? They are coming in hard and fast. Rodney McKinnon, you are the man on the consignment. These Hazelwood Conmans do not let you down. That's a total score there of an 86 points there for Rod. Gives him a total of 194.5. 194.5 for Rodlaw consignment. Zach Croker, you're the man we watch now. Company number 20 on the counterfeit. He's another Hazelwood Conman, ladies and gentlemen. Out of the KS Gleam. Well, that's what we think. We've got a maybe in front of it, but we'll go with that. We'll go with the Con Man and the Gleam. But the man they watch, Zach Croker. Just completed his first peg on the beef trains. A big thank you to the Matheson family for carting these cattle here this weekend. And the Maloney Livestock Transport team done a wonderful job.
Really? Is that Zach Kroger?
Score to come there for the counterfeit on the Zach Croker team. Then we'll go down to number 221, Benjamin McWhirter on Acres Cadillac. Up the front he goes. Here we go outside. Acres Cadillac. Got himself a tough one, just sneaking him out the back. He's just pulling him to the side. Just not what he wanted tonight. But anyway, he had a little score there to come for Zach Croker. Sorry, Zach, we got your score. We are just having a little bit of Acres Cadillac. Righto, John Hardy, you are the man we're going to watch now. Competitor 22 on Lena's Con Man. Score there for Zach Croker, come in at 86 points. 86, Jack. You got yourself a 190 for Zach Croker. A little score coming in there for Ben McGuirter on Acres Cadillac, got yourself a 22, with a total score of 60.5. 60.5. Right, I will slow it down a little bit. We can catch up here. I'll tell you what. We're as busy as a one-legged bricklayer in Baghdad up here, I'll tell you. John Hardy will be the man we watch. Compare number 22, Lena's Con Man. We're going to 23 will be out because he has a spell because he just won the Open, the Hazelwood Congressman by Rob Leach. He's giving him a little bit of spell and a little bit of extra hay. Then we're going to 24, Huey Miles on Just Jack, Bernie McGuire. You'll be up shortly.
That was quick, eh? You going to do this at your one? Don't give me. It's something that does have to be slowed down, and you know what I mean. Like pull up, let the judges know. Listen, boys, we're going to need 3 or 4 minutes to run in between each run. It takes time.
Well, not 3 or 4 minutes, just at least.
Well, if they want all that ready, like there is a novel there. Oldman's got a novel. So what you got to do is just pull 5 bits, like you said, right, 5 bits.
Righto, Johnny Hardy's the man we watch. Outside, he says, on Lethal's Con Man. He's by the Hazelwood Con Man out of a Lethal Spinosaur. He's an open horse. The dam is an open horse. And that's all we've got on that.
This horse.
The horse has won an ARBC title. And a cracking little pony. He is Lena's Con Man, John Hardy. Huey Miles, here we go down to competitor number 24. We're getting down to the end of it now. Just Jack. He's got himself a handy little score here for John Hardy on Lena's Con Man. Picked himself up at 91 points. 91 points. Gives him a total score of 202.5. 202.5. Gets him up into the leaderboard. No, probably doesn't. Righto, here we go. Oh, we got a bit carried away. We got a little beast walked out the front there. We thought Huey Miles was on the money, but he's still in the camp there, waiting to go. Right, Huey Miles, the man we watch, Just Jack. He's by the Hazelwood con man, out of the Smith family, just like Jess. He goes back to the daughter of Romeo, has won and placed in many drafts, including the ACA Finals Open. Second Open Condamine, second in the Paradise, second in the Grandfather Clock. There's nothing this horse has not done, ladies and gentlemen. Just Jack is your colt. Don't forget the mounted presentations will be straight after this Stallion draft. A little bit of history on this stallion. They've got written here, we believe this young stallion is the real deal. Just Jack is one of the few to carry these prestigious heritage stock horse bloodlines. We are pleased to present him and excited about his future. That is just a little bit of what they have to say in this wonderful stallion, Just Jack, ladies and gentlemen. And he is trained and guided under the wonderful Hugh Miles.
It's ridiculous. Anyway.
Righto, grab your cans and slap your hands. He's up the front. This is where he wants to be. Huey Miles, Just Jack. Busty's first move round the beef trans first peg. These wonderful cattle here this evening. Straight around the Maloney Livestock Transport second peg. Going down to the Graz Ag Gate and the Burton Sattery. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Another 4-pointer there. We'll let the judges decide on the middle part. Bernie McMord, you are coming up next at 25 on the Kirkby stud Elvis. That's the score there for Huey Miles. You got yourself an 89 points, giving yourself a total of 200.5. 200.5 over your total on Just Jack. Hey? Right over here we go now. Bernie McMore, Kirkby stud Elvis. He's a 2020 ABCRA Australian champion, all-round camp draft horse. 2020 ABCRA maiden horse of the year. They got more written up here on this man, I'll tell you what. He's got a stud fee of $1,760. I'll tell you what, you nearly had him cheap. He's by the Kirkby stud Echo out of the Madonna Heritage Stock Horse Bloodlines. That's a 20 cut out there for Bernie. 20 only. Gives him a total of 62. Right now, our last competitor comes into the arena. This lady has been knocking them around all weekend and got a wonderful line of horses on her truck. Vicky Evans is the lady. Telawa Classic Acres. This is our last horse in the Stallion competition here for 2023 at the Epic. So get behind her. Vicky Evans is your lady. Telawa Classic Acres excels in the show ring and is now stepping up into the Campdraft arena. He is an easy horse to do anything with, straight out of the words of Vicky Evans. He's got the looks, he's got the confirmation, he's got the ability, and he's got the performance backing him right up there. Telawa Classic Acres is your horse. Vicky Evans is the jockey. Well, it's just a little bit short off the money there that Vicky Evans was chasing, but I'll tell you what, she'll be back next year to have a bigger round. So put your hands together for all your Stallion shootout here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolute cracking setup, the Stallion Jackpot Camp Draft. Proudly sponsored by the Mindu Partnership, Central Queensland Performance Horse Sale. Cattle Donor was a Rod and Denise Ramage, and the Burton Salary Trophy Whip. We thank them very much. And we'll see all them back here next year. We will be going on with the presentations here on horseback very shortly. So don't go away anywhere. So congratulations, our epic 2023 Stallion Jackpot Camp Draft. First place goes to Ben Newbury on Coolum Quartz on a 2.65. Second spot goes to Roddy McKinnon on Rod Law Content. Third place goes to Kylie Barnett on Aristo Tough. Fourth place goes to Vicky Evans on Telawa Classic Destiny. Fifth spot goes to John Hardy on Lena's Conman. Fifth spot goes to Huey Miles. Time's up. Then we go to the seventh spot, James Keat on Barragunda Goldman. Eighth spots goes down to Huey Miles on Just Jack. So congratulations to them, winners and place getters down to 8th position. We thank you very, very much. So we do require the Open as well to come up there for the presentations. Rob Leach, you got number 1, Hazelwood Conman. Second spot goes to Tim McCarthy on League Storm. Third spot, Ben Newbury. Fourth, fifth, and sixth equal goes to Laura McIntosh, Dave Keat, Wally Ray. Seventh, eighth, and ninth goes to Thomas Morgan, Zach Croker, and Brad Williamson. We will require you on horseback in front of the camp for presentations. Don't forget the bar is open. There is food over there. Make sure you step away. And then we will be going on after presentations with raffle of the meat. With the Talanoa, we thank them very much. They are supplying some meat over there where we get to buy some of the best and the finest here in the Armidale area. That will be straight after the presentations over at the bar with the auction of a little bit of beef.
If we could have your attention, please, just for a short moment, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get underway with our presentations here this evening, commencing with our Open Campdraft presentation. Of course, our Grazag Open Campdraft, which has become a very prestigious event on our calendar, kindly sponsored by Jason and Kelly Litchfield. In first place this evening, Robert Leach with Hazelwood Congressman. If you could please make your way to the front of the camp, please. Rob Leach and Hazelwood Congressman, as well as the place getters, if you could make your way to the front of the camp. We will require Tim McCarthy with Lee Storm, who was in second position. Third place, Ben Newbury with Rosebud. Equal fourth, fifth and sixth was Laura McIntosh with Brown Acres, David Keat with Laguna, Lady Pep, and Wally Ray with Pandora. And in equal seventh, eighth and ninth, Thomas Morgan with Copper Aces, Zach Croker with Waitress, and Brad Williamson with Glamoress. They will be the winner and place getters that we require out the front of the camp to do the presentation of our 2023 Grazag Open Campdraft. Of course, our wonderful sponsors at Grazag, providing professional advice and selling all of your rural merchandise needs. They have a convenient drive-through service across all of their locations. We thank them very much. And of course to Tulla Beef, Rick Swan and his team, wonderful supporters who put up the round money this weekend. To Burton Salary, who also donated the whip. Benalla Stud for sponsoring the highest scoring lady. We must not forget a big thank you to our judge, Mr. Peter Dowling, who's going to make his way out the front of the camp here to make the presentation. John and Lee Burton, if you're around, we Kelly Litchfield, John and Lee Burton. Could you please make your way to the front? G'day, Lee. Come over here if you wouldn't mind. Well, John's at the bar, of course he is. Half your luck, John. Anyway, we'd love it if you could make your way down. If not, I'm sure Lee will cover for you as we decorate our winner and place getters of the 2023 Grazag Camp Draft. Come out here, I think Blake's got it. So beautiful with thousands. Oh, that's good. That's good. Your work's always very nice. I went over and had a look at the stall there earlier. So. You're right. No, you just stay in here so that we know where you are. Yeah. If we could please turn our attention to Centre Ring, where we're making the presentation to the winner of the 2023 Grazag Open Camp Draft here at the Epic for 2023. Mr. Robert Leach takes the title with Hazelwood Congressman on a score of 266. Taking home the cheque for $20,000. As well as the trophy whip that has been donated by Burton Salary. A beautiful whip too. We encourage you to get over. Burton Salary have got a trade stall across the road tomorrow at the Exhibition Centre, so we do ask that you get over and support our sponsors who support us where possible. Just before we go too far, we'll just get a few words from our judge, Mr. Peter Dowling, just on, Pete, how did you think the competition was this weekend?
Thanks, Liam, and once again, thanks to the committee for inviting me. Thank you very much to the cattle donors. I think the cattle made the draft, and I think the competitors will agree with that. They're a great line of cattle, particularly the final cattle tonight. But no, it's great to display some great horses here, and it's always good to come out of your area and judge. And I've enjoyed it very much. And thank you once to the committee, and congratulations to Rob and to all the place getters. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pete. It's great to have you with us here this weekend.
Someone I did want to thank too, the people who don't get any thanks are the people in the backyard. The team I had to work with this weekend was absolutely fantastic. So to Mel and Kate and the team, the boys out the back, thank you very much for your hand.
Thanks very much, Pete. I think you've earned yourself a beer, mate. If you just bear with us, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get a few words from the winner, Mr. Rob Leach, here shortly. Well, Rob, we won't hold you up too long, mate, but congratulations, a wonderful run, wonderful competition over the weekend. Mate, what did you think?
Mate, oh, it was just a great show. Ray White just really, bringing this horse sale deal on every year. It just keeps getting better and better, and just like to thank them for the job they're doing, and Grazag for sponsoring, and the cattle donors, and it's just thanks to everybody.
No, thanks very much, Leachy, and thanks for coming as well. Leachy, of course, not only a competitor, but a vendor tomorrow. Good to see him and the family putting a few horses through, and that's what this event is all about. It's a family event. The Ray White team is a family. They all come together to help out at this event. And, of course, we've really become an epic horse sale family because year in and year out, we have the same cattle donors, the same sponsors wanting to be involved, the same carriers. It's just great to be involved with good people. That's why it's a good event. So, Rob, congratulations. We'll just get a few more photos and then we'll let you go. We're just getting a photo here with Lee Burton, who, of course, is a representative of Burton Saddlery. Lee and John, wonderful supporters. They have donated a trophy whip to the highest cutout, which, of course, went to Mr. Hugh Miles. We'll just get one last photo here with Sally Stevenson and Laura McIntosh. If we could have you, please, Laura. Of course, Sally and Drew from Benalla Stud. They have sponsored the highest scoring lady rider in this draft. Got him? Just Sally and Laura, if you don't mind, thank you.
Just proved I can't.
Okay, thank you very much, competitors. That will be all we require here at the moment. We'll move on to the presentation of our Stallion draft very shortly. But ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to take a short moment to introduce you to one of our major sponsors here, Mr. Jason Litchfield. Jason, mate, thank you very much for being here this weekend. Mate, what do you think? Tell us a little bit about your business. It's great to have you on board.
Mate, well, it's an excellent event. I can't believe the efforts have been put in by Ray White and all the other people who've made the effort to be here. It's just such a growing event, and I think it's so important for Armidale and the North.
Thanks very much, Jason. Great to have you here with us. Of course, Kelly along with you as well. That will conclude our open camp draft presentation here this evening. We'll be moving straight on with our Stallion camp draft presentation when Blake gets me that result sheet. Here he is. He's a man who's prepared. So we're only paying, how many are we getting out? course, a reminder to head on over to the bar later on, ladies and gentlemen, at the completion of this presentation for our 2023 Stallion Campdraft. We'll be heading over to the bar. We'll have Jacko's jukebox over there. Blake's got him primed and ready to go. But, of course, before Jacko gets fired up, we've got a couple of young auctioneers that are going to auction off a few beef packs, which have been kindly donated by our sponsors, Tulla Beef. So without any further ado, we do require the top 3 competitors in the Stallion draft to please make their way out to the front of the arena, please. We will require the winner, Mr. Ben Newbury with Coolum Quartz. He took out the event with a score of 265 points, so congratulations, Ben. Following on closely in second will be Rodney McKinnon with Rodlaw Content, a total score of 256. And in third place, Kylie Barnett Tapp and Aristo Tough with a total score of 246. So they'll be the 3 competitors we do require. A big thank you to our 2 judges that we had for that Stallion shootout, Mr. Ben McNaughton and Tim McCarthy. The Stallion Jackpot Campdraft, of course, is a new event on our program, sponsored by Mindu Partnership and Central Queensland Performance Horse Sale. Keep an eye out for some announcements to be made about that Central Queensland Performance Horse Sale that will be taking place at Rockhampton later in the year. There will be a crossover for the incentives. Horses purchased out of this sale will qualify for the incentives up there, and horses purchased out of that sale will qualify for incentives here. We're always looking to grow these incentives. Of course, a trophy whip has also been donated once again by the team at Burton Saddlery for the highest cutout of the Stallion Jackpot Campdraft. And a reminder that our Stallion incentive is as follows. The progeny from mares bred to the winner of the Stallion Campdraft in the next breeding season will be eligible for a $10,000 incentive if sold through the sale and wins the Epic Campdraft. That $10,000 incentive will be split $5,000 to the Stallion owner and $5,000 to the mare owner. $2,000 will be added to a jackpot each year if not won. Ben Newbury taking home the cheque there for $2,490, as well as the other. $2,940. I beg your pardon, Prue. The sponsors are a lot more generous than that. Lucky the sponsors are easy to get on with in this draft. And of course, we have our sponsors out here from Mindu Partnership and the Central Queensland Performance Horse Sale. A big thank you to the Ramage family for donating the cattle to run that draft here tonight. I'm sure we'd all agree we saw some wonderful camp drafting here this afternoon. Okay, thank you very much. Before we go too far, we might just have a word from the judges quickly. Benny, you've been nominated, mate. Mate, what do you think of the competition here this afternoon?
Oh, yeah, mate. No, she was great competition. The Stallions are getting better and better every year, and it's a real credit to all the fellas that are breeding them. And yeah, I guess that's why the sale horses every year keep getting better and better. And yeah, it's a credit to everyone.
Good on you, mate. Great to have you back here with us this year. We look forward to seeing you next year. Without holding you too long, Ben, mate, congratulations. A great couple of runs here over the weekend.
Thanks very much. Yeah, I'd like to thank Epic. It's really going well, and all the cattle donors, and it's just really great to have a bit major event in the local area on the New England. It's really good, and it's good for our young kids to look forward to in the future. It's great.
No, it's good, and it's good to have local competitors supporting the event, such as yourself and your family, Ben. So a big congratulations to our winner and 2 place getters of the Stallion Camp Draft. Thanks very much, and we hope to see you all back here next year. Well, that'll be it, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's time to head to the bar, a place much more interesting than me yapping on. Anyway, we look forward to seeing you across the road there tomorrow. We will be holding the presentations of our Epic and Infinity incentive camp drafts over there tomorrow morning. Following on at 10 a.m, the sale will commence. So the sale across the road commencing at 10 a.m. That'll be it. Signing off tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Hope to catch you at the bar later on.
Come on, come on, come on.